You're raving, you're raving, you're raving with RWR. Fabulous songwriters from Belgium and beyond, the lowlands, the highlands, and far across the pond. On Instagram and Facebook too, you can follow, like, and share. Please hit subscribe and join the tribe from the comfort of your chair. You're raving, you're raving, you're raving with RWR. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, friends and followers and lovers of songs and songwriters. How are you all doing on this Saturday evening, the last Saturday of February in the year 2021? It is episode 75 of Raving with RWR here on my YouTube channel. Songs from the RWR Room dedicated to singer-songwriters from Belgium and beyond. Hope you're all doing fine and well. Great guest for you this evening. Looking forward to talking to him in a moment. Tonight's stream, of course, brought to us, as always, courtesy of G-Sharp Guitars, the world's finest travel electric guitars. Check them out in the description below. If it's your first time to the YouTube channel, or you haven't done so already, please consider hitting the old subscribe button down there for me as well, folks. Helps me get the songs out there, helps me get the channel seen, and every little helps. Thumbs up as well if you can. It'd be great if you could do that. Do we have a few live viewers? I think we do already. If you are watching live on Facebook, perhaps give the old page a like as well. Maybe follow along on Instagram at the RWR Room. That would be cool. So we've got a few live viewers, which is great. Chris from Germany is in. Good evening, Chris. Great to see you. One of the old stalwarts of the show. Always a pleasure. Good to see you, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Anybody else there at the moment? Oh, we have Linda Cullen, also from Germany, by way of Ireland. Hello, Linda. Great to see you. Lovely to see you. And Mr. Good Mojo the Smith down the road there as well. We're all fine. Stephen, thank you for asking. And hope you are too. So, yeah, that's all the advertising I have for you at the moment. Anyway, if you'd like to help out the channel in any way, of course, you can hit that PayPal link down there in the info section below. Never expected, always appreciated. My guest is from Glasnevin in Dublin tonight. He lives in Italy now, I believe. Great songwriter. We, I think, only met once in person, but we're going to have a little chin wag now, all going to plan. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Ray Heffernan. Hello, sir.
Hello there. Hello. We met in person.
Well, I thought we met at a gig. Well, I was kind of Philip Donnelly in a small gig in Dublin one night.
Yeah.
And I think you might have been the opening act. And I was racking my brain, early 90s, and I don't know.
Could be. Yeah,
one of the few times you've done tons of gigs in the Dublin scene before you left Ireland. Have you? Yeah. You were all over the songwriter scene, weren't you, really?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about all over it. Yeah, it was certainly all over me.
So it was.
Yeah. That's right. But that was like I was lucky enough to grow up in a very kind of a lucky time where the singer-songwriter nights were full of people like Glenn Hansard and Damien Rice and Declan O'Rourke, Paddy O'Casey. So there was a rich vein of form coming out of Dublin at the time. So as a result, you had to keep the standard of your songs up, you know what I mean, to compete with these great songwriters. Well, they went on to be globally successful songwriters, you know, but even at the time, there was a huge standard of song. You'd go along, you know yourself, and kind of, oh, that's how he's getting there, or that's what he's doing lyrically. You know what I mean? You just kind of, you know, iron sharpens iron, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's a good way to put it.
You know,
iron does. Yeah, it absolutely does.
Yeah,
and
so that was my school.
That was your school of learning. Yeah, it's Glasnevin. You said you grew up in, was it?
Glasnevin, yeah. A place still very fond of me heart, of course. A leafy suburb of Dublin. You know what I mean? And I didn't know the look I had growing up there. You know, that kind of way. Recently, a couple of years ago, I brought the kids home. I live here in Italy, and I brought the kids home, and just I don't know if you're familiar with it, but the drive home along from Howth and down the coast road, turning up Griffith Avenue and all the way to Glasnevin. So I could, like, that heart was beating out of my chest. You know what I mean? Just, you know what I mean? You kind of, I would pass by these places on the bus on the way. Like my folks have since moved out to Ashbourne and stuff, but it was incredible. It was such a resource. You know what I mean? To touch the land you come from. Whereabouts are you from?
Literally brought it all home. I'm from down the sticks down in County Offaly. So Shannon Bridge would be my little village. And a Biffo, yeah. Thanks for that.
Proud Biffo.
Absolutely. Proud Biffo. And never escaped Offaly. Then moved to Tullamore, still couldn't escape Offaly, lived there for a while. And from Tullamore to Belgium.
My dad's people are from around Edenderry, so
we're neighbours then, sure. That's great. It's great. And you did you go straight from Dublin to France before Italy? Is that how it worked for you? Was there gigs?
Well, what happened was I left school and what happened really was I read a book I read a biography about the Beatles when I was about 15, and it was called The Love You Make, and it kind of based on the thing, the last lines that the Beatles ever wrote were, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. You know what I mean? And those being the last lyrics they ever recorded, I thought, wow, that is poetry. That is just beautiful, bookending a career like that. And anyway. And since that day, Dahi, I've been gone to it. You know what I mean? I just thought, I really want to do that. And then I started to write my first songs and stuff. So I was supposed to kind of go into my dad's engineering company, 80s in Dublin, but I had discovered this songwriting thing. So I went over to France, and when I was 19, just for a bit of adventure and stuff. And very quickly kind of got into how, yourself, music is lived differently all over the world, you know what I mean? And in France, it's something different. They're more of a lyrical, they like les jeux de mots, they like to play on words. So it's a different way of writing songs. Right. So I got into it from there, and then realized that kind of songwriting or learning from the songwriter.
Lost you there for a second, I think. We got a small freeze there. Yeah, we might come back.
I saw that. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So learning from the songwriting, you were saying?
Yeah, from Jacques Brel and Brassens, learning French from those people, you know what I mean, is a school in itself, So and then wanting to repeat that and stuff, and and just kind of always kind of mapped out my life with songs, really, and But France was the first year when I started. Of course, Jacques Brel, from I see his picture in your intro. Are you a fan?
Yes. Indeed.
Are you a fan?
Well, I am a fan of I certainly was a fan of his passion, of course, not being a very good French speaker. I never really
have Flamand now?
Pardon?
Do you speak Flamand now? Do you speak
Flemish? The Flemish would be the main language up here. Also, not great with the Flemish either, but certainly better than the French. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I have a klein beetje Vlaams, indeed. But you're very proficient in languages. I mean, you've got
I love
French, and you've got your Italian,
Italian, a bit of German as well. But no, I do. I love languages. I love learning languages. I love this. I love learning enough of a language to be able to express a thought that I couldn't otherwise do in English. You know what I mean? Or just maybe say it in a different way. You know what I mean? Or a better way, a more musical way. French is great for that. You can really, play with the sounds and kind of, something that has a completely different meaning could sound exactly the same. So for phonetics in songwriting, you can really play around with stuff. So French was a good school for that. But again, yes, like I was thinking today, there's something in us as kind of Irish musicians abroad that we just seem to want to do that. You know what I mean? We seem to want to kind of resonate in the community. You know what I mean? How long have you been? Did you run gigs and stuff and getting going?
Yeah, did all of that in the early days, open mics and stuff like that. But mainly gigging myself, of course. But yeah, as you're saying, I loved the idea of bringing what I could to the table, culturally, as you are doing there.
Yeah.
In a small way or a bigger way, whatever way we could, whether it was running an open mic night or organizing a YouTube channel or organizing whatever it is. And I've done that. Festivals, any kind of small gig I could run or help with. I love being part of that, and you do too. I take
absolutely.
You do all that there.
But I've become convinced over the years that there's something ancient in that. There's something really I talk a lot about it with Shane O'Farrell, who you've had on. You know what I mean? And
yes, he says hello.
Yeah. Oh, how are you, Shane?
Yeah, he's not. I know he's watching, but he said, yeah, he said,
yeah.
Good
Yes, the Druid O'Farrell. We have a very platonic relationship in the fact that like we try to share wisdom when we're just talk and discuss things out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's something about even going all the way back to hey, Linda. How's it going, my friend? Yeah. There's a Queen of song as well. You know what I mean? I was looking at her videos over the winter singing in the forest. You know what I mean? There's something about us that wants to sing in the environment. You know what I mean? I don't know.
There is. As you said, very, very much rooted in that for some reason. Again, ancestry and
ancestry, culture. I don't know, but and it could go back to Shane talks about the Phoenicians. Could even go back to and there's traces of it with Columbanus. You know what I mean? Coming back through Europe along this path, singing songs. You know what I mean? Just basically a bit of wit, a bit of neck, and a few songs, and you can convince kings of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes, right. Very much a part of our heritage and culture, indeed. And as you said, how lovely and blessed we are to be able to be in Italy or Belgium or Germany,
very much so.
But to be accepted by those foreign cultures and embraced by them and given the leg
and even given a pedestal, That's what
I'm trying to say.
Because I think it's funny, like Irish musicians are appreciated everywhere except Ireland. Do you know what I mean?
Very much so.
We're given a pedestal.
Appreciated, but certainly more.
It's like there's a certain kudos, there's a certain depth to what people expect from Irish storytelling, I guess. You know what I mean? It is traditionally, it was kind of the saints and scholars, the Iona monks teaching. I only found out recently that if there are spaces between our words, when we're reading, we have spaces now, but in Western writings, that's because of the Irish monks, where they recognized the phrase and they would separate it when they were rewriting the ancient manuscripts.
Really.
And that's why in English language there's spaces between the words. You know what I mean? Coming from that
dating
that
back
thing,
to that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting stuff,
isn't it?
It absolutely is. Sean is asking, which part of Italy are you in? Ray?
I mean, I'm kind of between Milan and Turin, about 80 kilometers north. So I'm on the lake area. Like there's Lake Como, there's Lake Maggiore, and I'm on Lake Orta, which is like this little secret lake that nobody knows about. George Clooney doesn't know about it anymore, so nobody's interested.
What was it as a teenager then, knocking around Dublin when you got your first guitar and you got into this? Was it kind of folk music that drove you, or were you being exposed to rock and roll and songwriting?
It was Morrissey. It was kind of it was kind of expressing my loneliness and my my solitude, But about with music, with like instruments, I always wanted to play the guitar just good enough so I could write a song. You know what I mean? I play the piano just well enough so I can structure some kind of song. I've never really been that proficient. I'm not attracted towards kind of bravura, proficiency. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of jazz or kind of 12-minute drum solos or anything. I just like a song. I like a melody. I like to listen to somebody's story, and if it's packaged in a nice little kind of kind of structure that I can sing then back, then that was always my relationship with music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same with myself, I suppose. So you weren't. What about guitar lessons? Did you teach yourself? Did you get?
Yeah. I got a chord book. Yeah, I got a chord book.
Is that how it went?
A chord book and the Beatles chords. It was funny. In my first band, like we used to like bring the Beatles chords, easy Beatles, the one of these. To rehearse something. Anything that had an F in it was just unacceptable.
I know. Next page. Yeah.
Oh, like that. No.
Oh no, there's an F.
And there's loads of Fs in the Beatles.
Yeah. No F and waste, you. Yeah.
Exactly.
F that for a game of soldiers. Oh man, we're gonna have a song before we chat some more, if that's okay. Tell us a little bit about Let Go of the Wheel.
Let Go of the Wheel. Yeah,
give us a bit of a background.
I will. Now, this song in itself, it kind of, and I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but it's the first real song that I wrote coming back after a difficult experience with the music business, where I kind of was just made to doubt my own talent and stuff. And it's the first song that I started to sing in singer-songwriter nights and start to see a reaction from the people again, where it was kind of like,
kind of reconnecting,
and there's something in the lyrics that people, although it's quite a simple song, it's an A-B, half an A-B kind of song. It's very simple, but there's something like a mantra in the chorus that people seem to attach to. And I like this version because it was the first score that I wrote. It was the first actual arrangement that I wrote myself.
Oh, wow!
But the video of this song is a funny story. I was in Croatia on a private island. I was invited to be a facilitator in a songwriting weekend, but it's this really nice setup, this really nice private island with a lot of students from Germany and up that side of Europe and stuff. So on the last night, it was kind of the celebration, and I said, I have this one song, I'd love to do a video for it, and this German filmmaker was there, and he says, yeah, sure, let's do it in the morning about 7 o'clock. But then the night went on, and we're drinking all this white wine and stuff all night, and it was like 2:30. Yeah, definitely. I'll see you on the beach, 7 a.m.
I'll be there.
I'll be there, But them being Germanic, they turned up. Then they're knocking on my door 6:45, and I'm like,
come on, Ray.
But yeah, we're doing a video, and I'm like, oh man.
What?
So the expression on my face that you see in the video is very much
bleary-eyed.
Yes. Well, yeah, certainly confused.
Days confused. Well, look, let's give it a spin, Ray, and we'll be back in a few minutes. We'll have some more chinwag. Let go of the wheel, folks, from the brilliant Ray Heffernan. An early morning video, by all accounts.
Not like I knew you that well anyway, or you listened to a single word I say. When I said I was leaving, you just laughed and turned your face away. It's not what you do, it's what you don't say that keeps me around. It's not what I can't, it's what I can that I can't get my head around. I can't get my head around. Can't get my head around. I can't get my head. Close your eyes, make a wish, tell me how it feels when you let go of the wheel. I'm not looking for answers, baby, no. Just driving with the top down. Close your eyes, make a wish, tell me how it feels when you let go of the wheel. I'm not looking for answers, baby, no. Just driving with the top down. Driving with the top down. Driving with the top down. It's not like I knew you that well anyway. On a universal scale, you sat looking up at the stars and said, I feel so small. Look what we found. I'm not looking to change the way you live. I just wanna feel alive. To live in a place where it's about what you feel and not what you drive. I can't get my head around. I can't get my head around. Can't get my head. Close your eyes, make a wish, tell me how it feels when you let go of the wheel. I'm not looking for answers, baby, no. Just driving with the top down. Close your eyes, make a wish, tell me how it feels when you let go of the wheel. I'm not looking for answers, baby, no. Just driving with the top down.
It's not like I knew you that well anyway, but I should have guessed that it's not just the best, it's the rest of you that I can't get my arms around. I can't get my arms around. I can't get my arms around. I can't get my arms. Close your eyes, make a wish, tell me how it feels when you let go of the wheel. I'm not looking for answers, baby, no. Just driving with the top down. Close your eyes, make a wish, tell me how it feels when you let go of the wheel. I'm not looking for answers, baby, no. Just driving with the top down. Driving with the top down. Driving with the top down. Driving with the top down.
Beautiful song.
They're heading me. They grew again.
They're bleeding ahead of you. Linda said beautiful song, but she also said the just out of bed look. Or just out of bed head is all the rage these days. Yeah, she said, you know all about that, wouldn't you?
Not that day. The rage in the head. You know that white wine hangover, you know, good God.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, but hey, rock and roll, these are the breaks, you know.
Rock and roll.
And it's one of those where it was also, you know yourself that the places that songs take you it's incredible to behold sometimes, you know what I mean, to a private island in Croatia.
Yeah.
And to sing a song on the beach, you know what I mean? It's humbling sometimes, you know what I mean?
Very much so.
Yeah.
You know, you're no stranger to the good and bad of the music industry. So we'll talk about some of that stuff right now.
We'll get it over.
We will get it over with. And people that don't know you, Ray, you know, you came to public life for me
to notoriety
in the mid-90s when suddenly this young chap blew onto the scene. His name is Robbie Williams.
Yeah,
and you heard of him, did you?
Yeah.
So Robbie had this song called Angels. Mm-hmm. And suddenly it came to our attention that the man behind the song, albeit there a bit of controversy behind it, the man behind the song was none other than the bold Ray Heffernan, yourself. And that was big news in the 90s in Ireland.
It was, and largely misrepresented, in fairness, because, you know, unfortunately, I was a young man and I didn't really know anything about the music business, and a lot of it happened in a sensationalized way in the press, unfortunately.
In the press, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Typical press.
Yeah, and, you know, I never really felt comfortable playing that game, you know what I mean? It was always kind of, although I tried many times, but anyway. Now, okay, I'll give you the background to that. Before there was ever articles in the papers, I was living in Paris, and while I was living in France, I was kind of studying. I was living in a religious, kind of a Christian community. It's called L'Arche. Jean Vanier is a Canadian kind of mystic or whatever. And I was kind of studying to be a priest. You know, when you're growing up in Ireland in the 80s, and you kind of I've always had a kind of authority when I talk. You know, I've always kind of had the ability to handle a room and to convince people, you know. So when you have that growing up in Ireland in the 80s, people said you should be a priest, you know what I mean? So this kind of, you know what I mean?
That'll suit you.
Exactly, you know. So that was, I had myself convinced that was my destiny, that was my path, you know. So went to this. No, exactly, and thank God I got away from it. So I thank God I got away from it.
Thank God, I love that. I like that. I see what you did there.
Yeah. Purely accidentally.
Go on, for Jesus' sake.
Yeah, sorry. So what we thought, Robbie Williams anyway.
The other god.
Yeah, so anyway, I had left this thing and I was back home in Dublin and drinking heavily, and Robbie Williams was he was a struggling singer. He was just left Take That. He'd been kicked around management groups and stuff, management companies and stuff. So he was on his last legs and a bit of a boozer. So we found each other and we started drinking together and had a few nights, wild nights, with powder and pills and all of the rock and roll traps and, you know, and kind of all of that. And during all of this, we went into as well. We wrote a few songs, wrote 2 or 3 songs, one of which we went to a studio to record. And at the time it was called Angels Instead. Okay. About an experience I had in Paris, about where the girl I was with had a miscarriage, and I just the way I kind of thought about it was I love an angel instead. You know, he was born an angel, stuff like that. Anyway, like that. And so that's where I was thinking about the song. And I don't want to go into, you know, I bore myself going into too much detail about it.
Yeah, and you've spoken about it too much.
And I'm always aware, you know, because when he was a big star, when he's not such a big star anymore, you know, especially with the lockdown, that there's a level playing field now, you know. That's so. Right. But in the 90s and in the late 90s and the 2000s, he was the biggest star in the world, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, and I was this one dissonant voice going, hang on, don't want to, you know what I mean? Everyone was saying, oh, it's a more wonderful song, attached to funerals, attached to love. And this guy going, well, he didn't write it, or, you know. So anyway, the thing was that we recorded a demo. That was draft 1. Draft 2 is the song you know. You know what I mean? Is the Robbie Williams song? You know. Now I accepted money for my all and any creative input into the song. £7,500. Dahi, I was 23 years old. Yeah, and someone's offering me. You know what I mean? I thought, lovely. This is the start of my career now. This is, you know, that's me launched. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
This is what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to sell your songs to pop stars, and that's how you get a name for yourself. That's the way to do it. So that's the way I saw it. And then obviously the song took on a life of its own and it became a huge success. Grand. You know what I mean? I wasn't happy about it. I felt like an idiot, but you know, you deal with it. You accepted those terms. You know what I mean? You can't come back whinging about it, you know? And up until the point where in 2012 I did an album that I was really proud of. I think the last song tonight will be from that album, but really proud of the work. I'm working with some really excellent musicians, so I wanted to bring them to Dublin and play a gig in Dublin, you know. And a PR company said, yeah, they take it on and they do my PR for the gig for free and stuff. And they were kind of, you know, helping me out. And I was kind of getting loads of press coverage for the album. And I was playing one gig, you know, in Dublin. And I saw it as kind of a homecoming gig, a returning hero kind of thing, because I was on the radio, I was in the press. You know, the way you get caught up in that, you know?
Absolutely.
And then, of course, on the night, 38 people showed up to a 400-seater venue. You know, so it broke me. God. You know what I mean? Because I started to believe the hype. I started to if I'm in the hot press, if I'm in the paper, you know, the place, there might be standing room only here tonight. You know what I mean? It's kind of
you start believing stuff. Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And 38 people showed up, and it broke me. And I had like paid for the band, so not only it broke me like psychologically or confidence wise, certainly it broke me financially because I had to pay for the band for the week in Dublin. You know, so
of course.
So it was like Jesus. Then that was on the weekend, and on the Monday, the same PR company were pushing. They had just announced Robbie Williams in Croke Park in that June. This was March, and you know, so taking the wave of all the conversations about Robbie Williams the week before, which I had specifically said, look, can we talk about the new songs? Of course, they say, well, if you want to be on the radio, you have to talk about Robbie Williams, of course, and you play that game. But from that day, from when I realized that I was just kind of caught up in a game to sell Robbie Williams tickets, I thought, well, I'm not talking about that again. That's just not going to do it. Forget it, right? I don't want to talk about it anymore. From that day. Then he starts talking about it. Then he starts all of a sudden kind of going, you know, this fella is making this story up about some sort of deal. And So I let it go once, and then he was on the True Geordie podcast. Like that's a big audience, you know. Like it's 1 million views when they do stuff, and he's saying that I made up this whole story. He gave me some money, yes, but it was just to tell me to fuck off, kind of thing.
Basically,
but, you know, But I have documents and stuff. I have legal documents and demos and etc. You know what I mean? So I did a full podcast telling the story from both sides, thinking, okay, well, you know, there's obviously stuff I've left out of the tale. There's stuff I was unaware of, you know. So I told the tale like that, and then left it, and kind of asked for some retribution or some sort of public apology. Then nothing happened, and then Blind Boy did a podcast about it, and nothing happened. And then recently he did an interview with Gary Barlow. On the BBC Sounds, it's a big audience, and he says I'm a fantasist, like, you know. So there has to be a line, though. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? I accepted a dodgy deal. I was stupid. I was naive. I didn't accept to be insulted every 6 months.
No,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
so
not.
I come across probably as a bit kind of impassioned about this, but it's going on at the moment, and I've had direct contact with him recently, and it's just kind of very fresh, you know. But so
is it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be pushed around. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
no, absolutely.
You know,
you all you want is I suppose, you know, you are a co-writer of the song. You were paid to back off. You were said accepted a deal. Okay, so you had no sort of artistic right. That's what it meant, right? You had no artistic comeback. You couldn't get a credit on Robbie's album because of the deal you took. Am I right? Pretty much. So you were kind of told, okay, by taking this deal, you will not be credited as a co-writer. Is that right? On the track?
Yes. For all and any creative input. You know what I mean? I all and any creative input into the. That was my understanding of the concept of the contract. It wasn't a long elaborated contract. It was a simple agreement. You know.
Fair enough.
And you know, go on.
I was going to suggest then. So after all that happened, and I mean, you were obviously for a fleeting while you were in, like Flynn, as we say, you were in the scene in a big way. Okay, even though it might have been partly negative, did that not open doors for you in other ways, as in co-writing with other artists?
I suppose. It would have got my demos listened to quicker. Okay. You know, and
you were still able to say,
yes,
and I probably say in public that you co-wrote the song,
no, but like I stopped doing all that. I stopped attaching myself to it in 2012, 2013. You know, in all forms. I suppose at the start that's a good observation. Of course, people would listen to the demos, but the problem, or certainly the feeling I had at the time, was what they were listening to my songs, listening for Angels by Robbie Williams, which is not the song I wrote. You know what I mean? Which is not this. You know what I mean? That's not my thing. You know what I mean? Well, at the time, and if you're interested, if you're watching and you're interested, and you go to my Facebook link, which Dahi has provided for you. The tagged video is the original version of Angels instead. You can have that look, and you can tell me what you think. You can tell me what you think. You know, but you know, so that's the problem. People go, "Oh yeah, it's a good song. It's not Angels." You know what I mean? As they perceive it.
Always,
you know what I mean? So
always going to compare it. Sure,
you know. So, and I don't want to complain about that. You know what I mean? It's everybody tries to make the way that they can, and cut the path that they can. You know, but so that's where we stand at the moment with the whole thing. You know, it's very kind of
strange, and it's for such a big star. To have to resort to sort of name calling, you know,
throughout the years, throughout the years, you know, it hasn't always been the way. Like I noticed that more people are kind of listening to me now, and more people are kind of, because his story has changed so many times over the years. I think people are resonating with it, with what I'm saying, more so these days, you know. But like I said, in the noughties and in the 90s, the guy was just untouchable. You know?
Absolutely.
So But you know, even by his own account, he's asking us to believe that as a songwriter, he started with his best song and has slowly gotten worse. You know what I mean? That's what if we're led to believe, you know, that his Christmas song is the latest example of his songwriting. He started the first song he ever wrote was Angels, and now he has come to this without you know.
Sure. But
you know, that's you know, if you know anything about songwriting, you would hope to get better rather than you know,
deteriorate.
You know,
down the hill.
But
and maybe that's what he's trying to hang on to, the fact that he had such a big boost with you know, this song, and it went downhill after. I don't know. That's and
you know, I could get into it, and like I don't mind talking about the songwriting itself of the song. To me, that's a 4A pre-chorus. Okay, that's I'm lying in my bed, thoughts running through my head, and I feel that love is dead. I love an angel instead. That's A pre-chorus. Right. Okay, so all of the writing of that song, even the philosophy, is in the fourth line of that. I love an angel instead, because you have to find the cadence that follows the pattern you've set and land on the fourth one. You know what I mean? So I'm loving angels instead. The original was I love an angel instead, which I think still sounds better. I love an angel instead. It's more of a personal story.
Yeah.
And it's less, but I understand you have to be more, I suppose, universal with your lyrics.
Yeah,
but it actually came from the last chorus where we both sang, put your loving angels instead, and then he said I'm loving angels instead, so it became but you know, that's a 4-piece A. And if you look at his writing, if you look at my writing, I did it before that and I've done it since. It's just something I use
like almost a trademark that you have.
It's a writing style that you choose to apply or choose to employ. He hasn't done it before or since. You know what I mean?
When you really tear it apart and look into it like that.
When you look into the bones of the song, you know what I mean? So, you know, that this is my contention these days. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I've asked for a public apology. I have seen none, so I'm looking for different recourse. You know.
Sure. Well, I don't want to dwell on it too much because I know it's such a very, very interesting story.
It's a great story. It's a great story. And like I said to you, I can't wait to see how it ends. I cannot wait to see it. I'm so engaged with it.
It's amazing because you did the YouTube video and you put it out there and you sang your song, and then at the end of it you paused and you went, "Now, let's hear your version."
Let's hear your version.
I love that. You just stopped and went, "Now, Robbie, let's hear your version." Yeah, absolutely. And let's hear his version.
Let's hear it, you know, and that's what I said. I said, please share it and get it to him. And it has. And then, to be honest, like a couple of weeks ago, I was just sick of it. So I contacted him directly on Instagram. I says, look, he lives in Switzerland now. I said, jump in the car. I'll meet you halfway.
Yeah, we're neighbors. Let's do it.
Jump in the car, meet you halfway. You know, so we're talking about that. Seems to have gone a bit cold now, but you know,
okay.
But do you know what I mean? The thing that came to me was, if that old adage is correct, that be nice to people on the way up because you meet them again on the way down, that says a lot about his career, you know?
Very much so, Ray. It absolutely does. And as I said, you know, the pettiness of it for such a big star, not being able to at least stand back and go, look, fair play to you, Ray. I got that song.
I don't understand it.
I don't understand.
But they call me a liar when it's provably true.
When you have documented stuff, demos you made with him, photographs of him in your kitchen with your mother.
Like, if it never happens, you know what I mean? That famous photo with I don't know if you've noticed on the table, but it's Christmas time and my ma has the good biscuits out. The good biscuits out.
The good biscuits. That says it all.
Right?
Well, Mommy brings out the good biscuits.
You know, it was either Robbie Williams or the Pope. She was saving it for.
Oh well, look! Thanks for sharing that. It's fantastic. You know, it's a story people can research, of course, if they want to go back to the 90s and put your name in. They'll find all the details about that. I'm interested to see how it pans out for you.
How it finishes,
you know what I mean?
It's very engaging.
He needs to get his act together, I think, and He
do well. I don't know. I don't want to comment on that. You know what I mean?
I know, yeah. Well, don't. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it for you. Yeah. But we move away from it. Thank you for sharing the story, Ray. I know it's in depth. It is,
and there's lots of details too. And I never like to appear like I'm banging on about it.
Absolutely, we won't. It's your business at the end of the day. But I want to talk to you about being me, being we. It's a gorgeous project.
Yeah.
You work with kids. Let's move on to that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is now, as I was saying to you
Columbine
earlier,
Academy.
Columbine Academy is my thing. I'm trying because I'm underneath a Columbine church here where I am. You know, there's like footsteps of the Irish monks all the way to Vienna and all the way to Trieste here. You know what I mean? So there's something that
Pilgrim's Road, amazing.
It's Iona Road. Yeah, it's crazy. But so Columbine Academy. What I do is so I was kind of I had to do some community service. If I'm honest with you, I had a quantity of a substance that would have been grand for me to have if I was further north in Europe. But down here was a bit of a problem, you know. I had some community service to do, and they put me in a school rather than having me sweep in the streets. They put me in a school teaching English, but I couldn't teach English, so I started to play guitar and sing some songs. Oh, Rocher, you know.
Yeah, lovely. Get
them singing, get them engaged, you know what I mean? And then I realized that we could start to write songs with the kids, with their little English, just be creative with it and bring it on to give them a different attachment to English learning or to language learning. So I just kind of developed it and just went with it. And the first year, there was just that school, but then teachers talk. So I had 6 schools the next year, then I had 18 schools the next year, and now I've done it in 3 countries and in 3 languages, and it's a really cool way to engage with language learning, writing songs and saying what you want to say in a poetic way and just singing it for pronunciation kind of things, you know what I mean? And then like I was saying, like there's magic in a song that when you sing it, or you know, say in 10 years time you sing it, you will go back to the conversations you were having then, go back to that the way you learned it and the way it became your own kind of thing. So that's the way I've been studying it. And yes, this is an example. I was working with 1st and 2nd class students, Italian students, during the lockdown, the first one in March, where there was a lot of fear, you know what I mean? Especially here in northern Italy, nobody knew what it was, you know? So we were suddenly locked away, and the way I could engage with them was, okay, let's write a song about this, you know what I mean? Let's try and get it. And, you know, so every day doing kind of YouTubes, a bit like, you know, using StreamYard, getting them involved. You know, with there's a bit of digital proficiency to be learned with this as well, you know? So, and then we wrote this song and I did the video. I'm really proud of it because you can see the engagements in the kids. And you can see, and this is their own lyrics. These are lyrics that they wrote themselves, you know.
It's fabulous, right?
Really, it's a great crack as well, you know. And it keeps you interested, you know.
And so being me, being we.
Yeah.
Also lovely title. We'll give it a spin. Let's give it a spin, Ray, and we'll talk a bit more about it when we come back. Gorgeous. And the Columbine Academy.
Columbine Academy, I'll talk about it, yeah.
Gorgeous, so cool.
I'm a confident, responsible, sentimental,
Hello, my friends. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Swinging on the branch of the family tree, stringing sound of dancing to a melody, together forever. Being me, dreaming in a natural society, learning on the magic of reality, no matter the weather. I'm a confident, responsible, pretending, innovative, engaged, human being, tonight. Learning about the magic of the natural light. Dreaming of the day, of the beautiful sight. Together. A brand new year, a brand new year, a brand new fear, a brand new world. And then like a star, and running night, and learning forever. Confident, responsible, reflecting, awakening, case you and me, I'm confident, responsible, reflecting, awakening, case you and me,
Absolutely.
Great crack, isn't it?
If that doesn't lift you out of
It's great,
the old
isn't
mood,
it?
nothing will. That's absolutely wonderful.
The kids
really
are wonderful,
is.
you know what I mean? To produce
really
that, and during a time of fear and kind of, you know what I mean? They really it was so wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. They're just, they all, like the vibe on them. so great.
Yeah, they're just really engaged with it and just delighted to sing it, you know? So,
okay, let's go through the lines. Being me, being we.
Being me, being we, living in what is it? Swinging on a branch of my family tree.
That's 2 A's.
Yeah.
Something about the destiny. I'm going through the rhyme now. It is. Every time I hear a Ray Heffernan song, I'm going, the rhyming scheme is.
Yeah. I don't know. It is. It tends to be. I think it's a Leonard Cohen thing I ripped off. To be honest, he goes for 8. Even I love the way he can go for 8 and
rhyming lines.
Rhyming lines, and to be so simple and so like I coined the phrase when I was doing the podcast about the Irish songwriters that it's all about intricate simplicity. You know what I mean? It's so simple, but so intricate. There's so much, language and knowledge in such a simple little phrase, you know? Send out the raven instead of the dove. Yeah. You know, it's just...
That's it, lines like that, yeah.
Oh, you know?
Yeah. Was it Dylan that said anybody can write complicated stuff, but it takes a genius to write something simple stuff. Something like that. Speaking of Leonard, tell me about look at Leonard on the wall. I'm going to put you on.
What about that thing?
That is beautiful. What is that?
Let me tell you about that. First of all, the song you first heard was "Let Go of the Wheel," and there's a line in that says, "We sat looking up at the stars and said, I feel so small, but look what we found." Okay, now that's kind of dedicated to a friend of mine, Barry Jazz Finnegan, who is the artist who drew that. Yeah.
Wow.
But he has that line tattooed across his shoulders, right? And then he did that when he came over to do a launch of an EP over here. He did that, and then a friend of mine, an Italian artist, made the frame for me. And you can't see it from here, but the frame is made of Leonard Cohen handwritten lyrics.
Oh, you're kidding! Oh right? My God!
So it's beautiful. Like it's my favorite. It's a collaboration between 3 of my favorite artists. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's absolutely wonderful thing. And I'm
not attached to things. I'm not attached to things.
No,
but that's such a
have that
wonderful
gorgeous,
thing. Yeah. Unique thing, you know.
Absolutely unique, and
I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of. Well, not even. I'm an apostle of the man, because that's the bar, though. To me, that's
the bar.
That's the bar. You know what I mean? The great songs, the really great songs. Like I always loved writing songs. I always loved the act of creating a song. What bored me was the repetition. You know, especially when you're in a group or there's more musicians. Like I played in the band with 12 people. And the endless rehearsals of bits of the songs, you know what I mean? Just kind of repetition meant that I was boring myself introducing the songs. I was kind of having internal dialogue while I was introducing the songs, you know. So because it had become so, they were looking for cues in what I was saying and stuff, you know what I mean,
right.
to go into bits, you know what I mean. So you know, so that's so. What is it? Yeah, the thing about repetition and stuff, that was always what I wanted to do, and just get better at just the writing songs. You know what I mean? Just the actual writing songs, I guess.
So you're very much a lyric man first, then, are you, Ray? Would you? Do you like to kind of take lots of notes and sit down like Cohen used to, or do you have to have a guitar in hand? No. How do you?
I like Jacques Brel's thing. Jacques Brel said, writing songs is a lot like tending an orchard, in that you have to take care of the plant. You have to make sure the fruit is growing correctly. You know what I mean? Clean the fruit, make sure that it's protected from sunlight and stuff, you know. Yeah. Check the idea. Just those words fit together? Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just kind of, and then if you pull the fruit off too early, then it's going to taste bitter and it's hard and it's not pleasant. And if you leave the fruit on the branch too long, you can't use it. It rots away, and it's just like the idea is gone. However, if you're careful and you take care of your plant and you're just there, one day it falls off in your hand. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it just all ties itself together and stuff like that, you know. So I really like that. You know,
that too.
You know, you really got to, you know, just take care of it. You know, if you force it, it's gonna come across forced. And if you leave the idea too long, you won't be able to connect with it anymore. You know, so that's the way I see it. You know, so it could start for me like with just tying two words together, or I started to write a song, for example, before all of this COVID thing, called The Last Gatherings, because I started to wonder, you know what I mean? There was a whisper of the thing, but like Last Gatherings has a lovely cadence to it, you know what I mean? So da 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 suggests that kind of melody to me, The Last Gatherings. So I'll work over that and repeat and see what I can tie to that. For a few days, just let it bounce around my head, and then pick up a guitar maybe and find the chords around it and just kind of structure it out, and then just loop it, you know, and then slowly the da 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 become words and different things will add to it. So it can take a long time, but
that's kind of the process of
that's my process.
It's different for everybody. Just wondering. You know, some people need to have an instrument and need to sit down and see the flow. You know, a lot of note takers out there too.
There are, Or for a while I did morning pages, which I enjoyed. I don't know if you ever did that. It's the Julie Cameron thing, the artist way,
where you sit down and kind of
as soon as you get up, you just do 3 pages, you know what I mean? And it's like it's really difficult at the start because you're just writing, I don't know what to write. I still don't know what to write, but I'm just filling 3 pages. I still don't know what to write, you know. Right. But then suddenly it becomes you're training a muscle, you know what I mean? And it just clears the noise out and it gets you to filter down to what you're actually hearing, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Which is interesting, but it's a discipline, I suppose. You know what I mean?
It is very much so.
Know,
it's you know, people forget that songwriting is great, but it's work. It's bloody hard work. It's a lot of work.
It's an artisan craft. You know, if you take it seriously,
absolutely.
I mean, as an artisan craft, then yes, of course. You know, of course. Like again, another analogy. I think where the cathedral in which we grew up, you know, was full of songs. It was just like everywhere. It was, you know, I came up when kind of U2 were the biggest band in the world, so Irish music was on the main stage, you know. So there was great kind of a real breeding ground towards music. It was certainly seen as an option, you know, rather than, because there wasn't much work in Dublin at the time. Music was an option, you know. So I think we're rich like that. So
very much.
You know, that's the cathedral from which we draw our melodies and our songs and stuff, you know. And there's something about, and it goes back to the Irish thing or the Gaelic thing, or is it the Phoenician thing? We don't know, you know what I mean? But there's something about the way our songs are heard across the whole forest floor. There's something about the songbird, the Irish songbird, like, you know, on a forest floor, what you mostly hear is the high-pitched squawk, the rhythmic squawk, the
Yeah.
Right? That's what you hear across the forest floor. But in the corner of the woods, there's a little songbird shaping his melody to be heard, to resonate better in the corner of the woods that he finds himself in. You know what I mean? That happens, you know? So the songwriter is the songbird, shaping his melody according to the environment he's in. You know what I mean? So it better resonates in that cathedral. And then there's the rhythmic squawkers that just are heard all across the forest floor, because that's what they're supposed to do, you know? I think there's something in the way Irish people write songs that maintains the gravitas of the songbird, but manages to connect with the forest floor. I don't know, you know?
It's very well said. Yeah, very well said.
I thought about it a lot.
Yeah, it's something like Cohen would say now. Are you sure? Yeah, it's very, very, very good. I like it. I love it. When was the first time you heard Jacques Brel sing?
Oh,
why did he move you so much?
I had great difficulty with him at the start because it was frustrating. I didn't understand everything, you know, and it sounds when you know, especially I was a young man thinking I know how music should sound, and it shouldn't have a French accent, you know. But then when I heard Ne me quitte pas, and I heard the line what's the line? Don't let me lose it. Des perles de pluie venues du pays où il ne pleut pas. Pearls of rain that come from the country where it never rains. Des perles de pluie venues du pays où il ne pleut pas. It's just, I just thought when I understood that line.
When you understand that line.
And the way it fell, the cadence of it can only be in French, that line. It doesn't work in English, you know. But they tried to reproduce it in If You Go Away on that summer day, well, you might as well, you know, that the old natural thing,
to kind of translate around it, and
to adapt really to it, works. But in any adaptation, you have to take some of the poetry away, you know. But so when I understood that, I just wanted to know everything. Then I just wanted to know everything, you know, to understand all of what he was saying, you know, to understand, you know, that song by originally Terry Jacks. We had joy, we had fun. That's a Jacques Brel song. That's Je veux qu'on rie, je veux qu'on danse, je veux qu'on. Anyway, and it's quite a dark song, you know. But I was just in that song. He says about the priest. He says, "On n'était pas du même bord," and that means we weren't from the same. Talking about a train, so they weren't from the same key, the same train track. Okay, that's what it means. On n'était pas du même bord. But what he's suggesting is that the priest was gay. Okay, you know what I mean. But you have to know French to understand.
Sure.
To understand. So that's what I wanted when I started to listen to Brel. I didn't just want to understand the French. I wanted to know what he was trying to say. You know what I mean? So
the deeper meaning of the lines and that. Yeah,
so you need a really strong knowledge of the language to do that. You know, but I'm passionate about that. So I've always found language easy. I've always just get it. You know what I mean?
You get it. You're lucky. Yeah, I think that's one of the great joys of knowing a foreign language is that you get to hear more, don't you? Understand more. Of what's going on around you. Yeah, one of my regrets.
The way I've always been. I was just like, you know what? I'm starting to learn Russian. I just like to learn.
You're amazing. You're amazing with the languages. Yeah, that was a kind of a segue into the song that you sang with your friend here with Caroline Moreau.
Caroline, what a beautiful French lady. Yes. Now,
tell us a bit about
there's a story behind this song as well. I wrote this in 2002 when there was a French election. I don't know if you remember. It was quite a shock to the system when Jacques Chirac and Jean-Marie Le Pen were up against each other, and Le Pen got into the last round of voting against Chirac. So it was like Front National, the real right-wing politics. These days he'd look like a liberal, you know, a liberal snowflake, you know what I mean, compared to what's being said these days. But at the time, one in 1 in 5, 20% of the population had voted for a right wing, a fascist or a perceived fascist. So it was a shock to the system. So it's kind of just all about it's half in English and half in French.
Yeah.
And I just love the way, you can play with the French and make it rhyme with the English, and I've done it in like a Parisian waltz as well.
You did very much sort of an homage to
exactly.
It's gorgeous. Well, I'll give it a spin.
Please do.
Let's give it a spin, and we'll be back after this, folks, with a bit more chat from the man himself. How do I say the chanson de say it for me? What he said. Chanson de bête. And you're singing it here with Caroline Moreau, beautiful singer. Yes. Enjoy this, folks. Back in a few minutes.
Habes, what a terrible mess they've made in the streets of Paris. It all went mad between Jaurès and Stalingrad, et on se croirait sous Vichy. I'd like to thank les 1/5 for having been so francophone, to help Franco feel. Mais remercie au 20%. Chacun songe à sa vie, chacun son Sarkozy. Maria, I only let you, Maria, when you sold yourself to Cannes. Tu voulais que je m'éloigne, tu voulais que je m'abaisse. What a terrible mess they've made of the streets of Paris. Marianne, dans un bar de la rue Mouffetard, essaye d'oublier l'Algérie. Souvenirs, photographs of when Marianne laughed and how we felt after. Edith Piaf sang Padam, padam, padam. Oh, with all that I am, j'ai prié pour l'âme du maréchal Pétain qui confesse Abbess to his terrible mess. An impartial undress, Marianne is depressed. Doucement elle s'affaisse, publiquement elle s'abaisse.
I wanted to get you back in to just say goodbye to you, really, and to thank you very, very much for coming on here and talking to us tonight. You had great stories, you're a great singer-songwriter, and really happy that you could do this tonight, Ray.
Man. And on this beautiful full night, on this beautiful full moon night, there's something
full
ancient,
moon
man,
night.
that these
connecting the two Irish souls. That's right.
Man.
Connecting the old Irish souls on a full moon. and
Telling you.
we're not too far away from each other, Ray. If when this stuff settles, you got to come up and sing us a song here in the RWR room, and we'll make that happen. I'd love to. Have you stuff going on? Are you doing any streaming or anything coming up in that regard, or did you bother with any of that?
No, to be honest, I don't. I find it difficult to engage with. I don't know how you feel about it, but live concerts, stuff, it's very difficult to truly get the vibe. Music is always about connection with me. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
Creating the vibe. Like the example I always use, or actually, Declan O'Rourke used it in my podcast. He says, like, have you ever been in a studio where you might hit a chord on the guitar and the cello in the corner will start to wah, you know what I mean? Start to resonate with the chord on the guitar.
Yes.
That's like a song to me. For that moment, there's harmony between the two instruments, and songs are that. You know what I mean? So I love to feel that resonance. You know what I mean, with people. So that's what I miss from the thing, and hopefully we'll get back to it. But I think as creatives, as songwriters and creatives, we're going to have to really create a new path now. That's why I'm excited about the language learning. I think we're heading to a place where songwriting can be seen again as an artisan craft and used in communication. I'm just realizing that my internet is back on the main computer. Will I jump back in there? Oh, it's not.
Give it a try. I'm going to edit this anyway. We have another song to go, but do that. Give it a go.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
No, it was lying. It was lying. It's not working. It's not working.
Lord, it's all right. But I wanted to just ask you about the Gravediggers song and that great band that you're working with before we sign off. I want to play one more song.
That was that's some of the best musicians in Italy. That's 2012 now. That was, as I said, the album I mentioned before. I'm really proud of this album. It's called New Dress Woven. I recently removed all of my music from Spotify because I just don't think Spotify is fair.
Good man. No, it's not.
So my music is available on Bandcamp and on YouTube and stuff. But this song is Gravediggers. Now there's a great story to this. I come from Glasnevin, and I used to go back a lot to see my parents and stuff like that. And I was down there one Monday night. It was a Monday night, and we kind of parked up, and it was really busy. Like for a Monday night, I don't know if you know the pub, but it's not like it's never stuffed. But it's never that busy on a Monday night. Anyway, we go in, and as we go in, there are pints lined up along the railings of the graveyard, which is just beside the pub. You know what I mean? Like pints on
the railing.
Right. So I thought, well, that's weird. There must be nurses' night off.
Not empty glass now. Full pints of Guinness.
Yeah, full pints. Right. So then getting into the pub, it was 1st of November, All Saints Day. Okay, so people inside the pub had bought a pint for people they'd lost in the graveyard. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was such a noble silence tribute and uniquely Irish. You know what I mean? Just to Johnny loved the Guinness, so let's leave a Guinness for Johnny. You know what I mean? So,
Wow. Let's drink to that.
So that's what this song is about. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Wow,
man.
Sláinte.
Yeah, good health.
To your good health, sir. And that is as you said, a noble gesture, and what a striking thing to see on the railing of on the wall of a graveyard. A pint of Guinness, several pints of Guinness. Yeah.
A silent tribute. You know what I mean? Just a silent little tribute to the person that you've lost. You know what I mean? I loved it, so I wrote the song about it, and it's full of imagery of Glasnevin and where I grew up and stuff like that, and just those memories. I actually share myself and right at the start of this, I shared this song with Shane O'Farrell, and he lended his energy to it and kind of took it in the direction of speaking about the the way Shane writes. He's very careful writer, and he took it in the direction that I'm really happy with and really proud of.
Well, no better man to do a job in the chair.
Yeah, Shane is
Shane is mighty man.
He's in touch with the gods. He's in touch with the gods, that man.
He is, or the druids or something. Yeah. He has the old.
He's got the eye. He's got the eye.
He'll be. We feel we're talking about the other side of the full moon tonight.
His ears will be ringing.
He'll be running around the field somewhere between the stones.
Yeah.
He will. As I will in a minute. But look, thank you so very, very much for being here. I will edit out all of these the little dropouts there that we had. The very best of luck with everything, and the best lots of love to your lovely family there, Ray. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
I'll be watching with bated breath as to see what Williams pulls out of his hat as regards what we spoke about earlier.
We'll
finish off with this great song of yours called Gravediggers. All the very best, sir. Slán.
Thank you very much, Dahi.
Good night on board.
Ray,
thank you very much. Folks, that was Ray Heffernan, the one and only, the brilliant and talented Ray Heffernan. Great pleasure and honor to have him on the show tonight, all the way from Italy. Thank you all very, very much. We had a bit of technical stuff there at the end, but it's okay. That's the internet. That happens. This will be removed from Facebook now, but it'll stay on YouTube, and I'll get to edit it up late tonight. So you can always watch it back anytime. Please feel free to share this video. Give it a thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button, and of course, follow Ray there on his Facebook page, Hefnet. Great Facebook name as well. We're going to leave you with a song. It's called Gravediggers, and there he is having a pint. Thank you all very, very much. Enjoy this last song of Ray. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm back again on Wednesday with the great Bike Camara over there in Brussels from Wednesday night, 8 o'clock as usual. See you then.
You meet me maybe Sunday after Mass, 'cause you know your folks won't notice if you're sure to walk in last. And we'll walk around the botanics, have a smoke with Socrates beneath the shadow of the cross that, like the sword of Damocles, follows you all the way home, through the graveyard after dark, and all the way home, all the way home. Take the lane through Talca Park, all the way home, Been down longer roads, but none of them could reach you. I came out of my way on the 19A to accidentally meet you. If you talk to Yvonne Harrington, she'll say that I'm a fool, but I face the cold of Movie Road to meet you after school and walk you all the way home, through the graveyard after dark, all the way home, all the way home. Take the lane through Talca Park, all the way home. I left a pint on the railings for you at the Gravediggers. Well, I saw you at the Gravediggers.